Okay, let's talk about Joe Rogan now. Speaking of Joe Rogan and his fucking long-ass nipples, the longer his nipples have gotten, the worse his takes have gotten, you know? Back then, March 10th, 2020, Joe Rogan is ahead of the curve with COVID. Brings on Dr. Michael Osterholm, who is a famous epidemiologist, actually, who is now on the Joe Biden COVID response team. Okay? Back then, short nips.
The value of vaccines too. There's so many wackos out there that think that vaccines are, a scam, or they're dangerous, or there's so many people out there that won't vaccinate their children.
Thank you for what you do say about vaccines, because people listen to you, and we need every positive voice because we have so many crazy voices out there right now.
I do not remember this. Are you serious? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. What?
So many people are paranoid and delusional, and they want it all to be a conspiracy. There's been an amazing medical innovation in human culture, and that's vaccines. It's amazing what it's done. And have there been adverse effects on people? Of course, everything that people do. There's some people that are going to react in a bad way. It doesn't mean it's not a positive thing. And there's a reason why the cases of polio are so tiny. There's a reason why smallpox went away. It's because of vaccines.
A few moments.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Remember when we watched this, and this was like one of the first moments where I was like, damn, bro, COVID is like super fucking serious, and it's good that Joe Rogan is like taking this seriously. Remember, we watched that last year. Remember when we fucking watched that back in March 2020? A lot of you weren't even in here. This community was like fucking 5K Andy back then. But like, I remember watching this back then and being like, this is good. Like, this is a good thing that Joe Rogan is doing. He's not contradicting himself, guys. He did his research. Yeah, instead of like, fuck. You just said you didn't remember this? No, I remember the conversations. I've regularly talked about Michael Osterholm's presence on the show. What the fuck do you mean? I just don't remember him talking about vaccines specifically. Watching a 5-minute cut about Joe Rogan talking about how dope vaccines are with Michael Osterholm. It's a weird experience.
Later.
And people say, do you think it's safe to get vaccinated? I've said, yeah, I think for the most part it's safe to get vaccinated. I do. But if you're like 21 years old and you say to me, should I get vaccinated?
Bro, his nipples have gotten so much longer here. I can just sense how long his nipples are. At this very moment, Joe's nipples are fucking hard and they're long, okay? Isn't it weird how so many prominent Republicans love to hang out with convicted child pornography creep Josh Duggar? Oh, yeah. Old Joshy boy. Dude, there is so much content today. Fuck me. Okay, let's just keep going. Okay? My God, dude. Pedophile Republicans. Holy fuck. Okay.
I go, no.
Yeah.
Are you healthy? Are you a healthy person? Like, look, don't do anything stupid, but you should take care of yourself. You should, if you're a healthy person and you're exercising all the time and you're young and you're eating well, and like, I don't think you need to worry about this. This is really gene therapy. It's a different thing. It's your body. It's tricking your body into producing spike protein and making these antibodies for COVID. It's terrifying that they're now trying to give it to children.
Yeah.
And they're trying to say that children need it when they don't. They don't need it. The children, they keep saying 700 children have died from COVID. The children that have died from COVID, without exception, any that I've read, almost all of them, let's say that to be safe, almost all of them had severe comorbidities. They had leukemia, they had cancer, there was something seriously wrong with them, and they died of COVID. They were amazingly obese whatever it was. It's not like a drug. It's not a disease that is very dangerous for most healthy young kids. It's not.
So is it just the money going into the pharmaceutical companies that's driving people to want everyone to get vaxxed?
It must have an.
Which is precisely why, I'm an advocate for anaclonal antibodies, which is famously made in a bathtub and not by any pharmaceutical corporation that actually is going to make money off of it. That also simultaneously is much more costly to the average individual who has to pay a premium for it, and also the government that also has to pay for it too. So, I'm a big fan of that instead. Or I'm a big fan of ivermectin, which the human consumable ivermectin is made by, obviously, yet another artisanal drug manufacturer rather than Big Pharma. Oh, wait, just kidding. It's made by fucking Merck, dude. Man, I love shilling for little pharma, the little guys like Merck.
An influence. It's also the narrative. Right. There's also people that have been vaccinated that don't want people to get away without being vaccinated, because I think they know they took a chance. I think secretly they know, like, if anybody pays any attention, they know someone who's had a bad reaction to the vaccine, or someone who died shortly after the vaccine, or they've watched some fucking soccer player drop on the field of a heart attack, and there's a lot of that going on, by the way. Well, I'm paranoid. Well, I seek the advice of experts whenever possible, and what I was seeing was that there was a lot of weird misinformation and conflicting information.
Vaccine mandates and Nicki Minaj. Alec Berenson feels COVID measures have been over. What Bill Gates say about the COVID vaccine side effects. Isn't it Alex Berenson? That fucking dickhead. Dan Crenshaw and the political polarization of COVID. The shifting nature of the coronavirus. Fauci gain of function research in Wuhan lab.
I'm not a doctor. I'm a fucking moron. And I'm a cage fighting commentator who's a dirty stand-up comedian who just told you I'm drunk most of the time. And I do testosterone and I smoke a lot of weed. But I'm not a respected source of information, even for me. If I say things, I'm always going, check on that, Jamie. I don't know if that's true.
Right. Dude, when I knew Joe was fucking fully off the deep end, like recognized that he wasn't just like misinformed, but also totally willing and able to misinform others? When we watched that last video, I think it was with Jocko, or who was it with? I think it was with Jocko, where he basically stated, oh man, COVID is actually really fucking bad, or whatever, or COVID or the vaccines are really fucking bad. And then Jamie corrected him, and he just like quickly moved past it. When that happened, when he ignored Jamie, I was like, oh, he knows he's in the wrong. Like, he knows the fucking article he's currently reading is contradicting his point of view, and yet he's still like pushing past it quickly. He's pulling last week's when you realize, no, last week is when I know for a fucking certainty that Joe Rogan had already fucking fallen off the deep end in its entirety, but was aware that he was like grifting. Does that make sense? Like, obviously I knew that Joe Rogan was a fucking dumbass, but because he's a dumbass, which he also admits, there is always the likelihood that he might just be a dumbass who's been misinformed, and there's a way to like recover from that. Joe Rogan became a media person after that moment. That was a biased media person who does not want to come across like he was ever in the wrong, and absolutely, like without a fucking doubt, wants to advocate for a certain position no matter what happens. Okay, it's like the Panama Papers. Like, you knew, but you now know. Exactly. Like, him even saying like, oh, I have meme folders on my phone. Like, that's the kind of behavior that people demonstrate when they're fucking brain dead, right? Like, that's like your grandpa, He's finally on the tail end of his villain arc when Jamie couldn't control him with his pulling powers. Yeah, pull that shit up, Jamie. There were people in my town saying they would not get vaxxed because I spent 4 days at the hospital after vaccination, apparently. I never went to the hospital. I didn't even get a fever, actually. These are the people Joe Rogan would cite. He always talks about how he's an idiot and nobody should listen to, only when he gets called out on his bullshit and has to bitch out. When he's actively spreading misinfo, it's an alpha brain serious time. Yeah. Also, look at the nipple length. Jamie, pull those nipple lengths up. Look at that.
I do that all the time.
That's it. Confirmed. He's got Pinocchio nipples, bro. He got Pinocchio ass nipples, bro. Every time. Every time he fucking puts forward another COVID misinformation, like another rant about... Every time it goes on another rant about COVID misinfo, his nipples grow a millimeter, okay? Also, my man's got udders. He needs the fucking straight up get milked nonstop by the fucking Brett Weinsteins of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, they always fucking come to him to suckle on his titties for that clout juice, you know? Body shaming is sick. Shut up, you baby. You are such a baby. You're literally a fucking Joe Rogan fan. If you're a Joe Rogan fan, you're automatic. You can never fucking cry about body shaming, okay? You're a Joe Rogan fan. You're defending Joe Rogan. You can't fucking cry about body shaming while simultaneously being a Joe Rogan fan, you fucking idiot. He's a comedian. Woo! Look at them nips, bro. Look at them nips. That's how you get the cloud juice out. You gotta suckle on them nips. Woo! Okay. CRT with too much prolactin or estro, or those not being managed by Arimidex or Cabergoline give you those big man titties. I don't think he has. I don't think he has gyno. I don't think he looks like he has gyno. We've seen him without a shirt. He just has like some fucking sexy ass nipples, dude. They're protruding. Okay. I like him. Sorry. I know you do, Magical Squid. It's okay. I just like his nipples. Why am I always getting on the most weird parts of streams? There is literally not a part of this stream that's not weird. Any given moment that you click on the stream, I'm going to be saying some weird shit. Okay? I'm a weird guy. Let's get back to it.
Right. But I at least try to be honest about what I'm saying.
A few moments later.
Joe Rogan is a conspiracy theory. What is he saying? Well, you're supposed to aspirate, you fucks. When you see someone get injected and they just go like that right into his arm, that is an incorrect way of vaccinating the fucking leader of the free world. So I think he felt like the same way. If I had a conversation with you about military tactics and leadership in the SEALs, I would defer to you about everything. I would just be asking questions. Yeah. You're the expert. I think he had this idea that that's how it was going to be. That we were going to have this conversation about COVID and medicine and a medical situation, and then he was going to give me all of this information that was going to straighten me out.
Ouch.
Didn't work out that way.
It didn't work out.
This was another one of my favorite moments where he's just like, yeah, I defer to you because, you know, you're a fucking jarhead, dude. But like, I would never defer to a doctor whose like entire job is disseminating medical information. Like his entire job is processing complex medical journals and like communicating it to the public in a way that is like easy to recognize and understand. But like that guy, no way. Military stuff though, I totally defer to you because you're the expert, bro. You grunt extra hard. You know what I'm saying? You got that fucking, you're jacked. You're jacked. You're big boy. You look like a thumb. You got like the most thumb-like physique. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I've been fucking talking to scientists and doctors and biologists and virologists for months and months and months.
Not a single epidemiologist, okay? Not a single one, except for the last time he had an epidemiologist on his show. His name was Michael Osterholm, and he's now a part of Joe Biden's COVID response fucking... What is this? Grr, content creator renting an apartment. Grr, how dare you have money. Grr, stupid millionaire streamer. Grr, sit there and rot in a box. Grr, what the fuck? I don't know what happened there. I do know what happened here, though. Num 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 num. I'm about to be like fucking JoJo. What's the name of the guy with the cherry? Was it part 5? You know what I'm talking about. Wait. Come on. Give me the link. I want to show you guys. I want to show you the fucking... That was part 3. The one with the fucking cherry, dude. Come on, show me the cherry. Someone's got to have that cherry clip.
Mike, how you doing?
Okay, dude. Fucking chill. Where he's like, lelo. Oh, here, this.
食うのかい腹が空いてしょうがねえぜおっと丈太郎くんレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロ
This is the fucking weirdest show on the planet, dude. Oh, that's what I would do. That's what I would do to Joe Rogan's nipples, dude. Remember when they said the anime was for straight people? What anime is for fucking straight people, dude? Little. Yo, just remember, chat, there's 30,000 people in here, and someone just clicked on the stream during that moment. Okay? There's 30,000 people here on the stream, and just know that someone clicked on the stream right now while I'm doing this. JoJo is so gay. It's ridiculous how gay it is.
Months. Yeah. And
you've got to be the amount of information that you have absorbed in the past 6 months or maybe a year about this. You've been tracking it. You've been talking to all these smart people. Man, that's rough to roll in and think that you're going to trump your statements.
Well, I think he thought that I wasn't really informed, but I keep a fucking file on my phone. And it's not a small file. I'm going to show you this. I have a folder on my phone called Cooties. And these are all...
This is like straight brain rot, bro. Straight fucking brain rot, dude.
COVID stories that I've read. I've read every one of them.
Yeah.
And I know, and not COVID stories, like anecdotal stories. Right. These are all like PubMed articles. These are all like peer-reviewed data studies. These are all VAERS reports. These are all like things.
Bro, the energy of this is like just slightly less dumb than Donald Trump being like, my uncle, he went to MIT. He's brilliant. I know everything about COVID. I'm a big scientist myself through osmosis. Like, it's the same fucking shit, dude. Is just as stupid, okay? And we all recognize that Donald Trump's a dumbass. Joe Rogan, on the other hand, his stands are like, nah, man, he's fucking brilliant, bro. He knows what's up about COVID. Actually, that's not even true. I feel like hella Joe Rogan fans are split on this now at this point because they're like, I think I would go so far as to say the majority of Joe Rogan fans, even if they're fucking anti-vaxxers, are probably like, dude, please stop talking about this. You sound like a fucking boomer psycho, dude. Even my grandma doesn't talk about COVID this much. Holy fuck. Like, there's still certainly going to be people who are like, yep, that's the truth teller. I love him. Yee. Or there's people who are like, I fucking hate the COVID shit. Please move on. You're an anti-vaxxer. It's whatever. Please stop. But I know for a fucking fact that there's got to be a majority of his audience at this point who are like, I don't even give a shit. Like, I think COVID is fake and it turns you gay, but please stop talking about it, Joe Rogan. Go back to some fun content. You fucking fell off. Plus you're white. Plus ratio. This became his weed, bro. At least when it was weed, he was on the right side of the fucking argument. And like, it's like fun. It's weed. You know what I mean? This became his new weed. The only time where he's not, operating like a chameleon and like totally sucking up whatever the other side's like point of view is when he's talking about weed, or back in the day, and now it's become COVID. Like, that's his new weed, and it's just so much worse than COVID. I love how you are trying to be funny, yet you fail every time. Maybe it's not for you, brother. See, if I was a fucking hack comedian, I'd be like, did I trigger you? Ugh, I'm actually fucking hilarious, but you're just too triggered to fucking get the kind of humor I'm doing, bro. Are you fucking triggered, you little snowflake baby? You are a hack with that cringe nipple shit. The only thing I'm trying to hack is a lick off of them nipples, okay? Shut the fuck up, baby. Listen, some of you motherfuckers are too scared, dude. You're too scared to admit it. Okay, telling me to skip. Let's continue.
On myocarditis. These are all things on vaccine efficacy, how long it wanes, when it goes.
Right.
You know, I mean, just like, I've been paying attention. I don't have an uninformed opinion. I have a controversial opinion, but what else is new?
This was a really good fucking video. Good shit to whoever made this. This is just me, but just Joe look a lot better in the first clip, like without sound or anything. His face looks healthier. Pretty sure Joe started hitting the bottle hard when he couldn't go to the store. That documentary about Comedy Store had a whole episode on Joe. Is clear like a temple for him. It explains a lot of his loss of faith in the kind of shit he's been doing since the pandemic started. We got Stans in here, like, also psychoanalyzing his shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think he's really boozing, but he might not be. I actually don't know. Pretty obvious to see you take account of the whole thing. Joe was never hyper political. He always said it was a scam and a waste of time to get into. He made fun of politicians. But when you hit a crisis of faith, which I argue was from his loss of touchstone at the store, you can reevaluate your mindset in the world. You can find sanctuary in addiction. In this case, addiction seems to be a cult. Yeah, we haven't done the 9-to-5s are for anxious people who don't know how to handle extreme stress. Yeah, we're going to get to that part too. This part on Joe is just like straight up, he's out of touch, okay? That's just like something a person who is out of touch would say. Also, another thing that we need to like account for here that, you know, people, friends, lovers of Joe Rogan's nipples refuse to admit is that, like, he is getting old, you know? It happens to all of us. It's going to happen to, going to happen to me as well. It's happening to me already. You know, every moment that goes by, there's another hour where the top of the hour comes and there's another ad break. You know what I mean? And if you no longer want to see those ads at the top of the hour, well, if you're lucky enough, you can get a gift. You can get a gifter. One of the Oilers can gift you. But if you're not lucky enough, kind of like Sheldon Simmerd, who just gifted 10 subs. If you're not lucky enough to receive one, though, well, then, you can subscribe on your own for $5. If you don't have $5, though, then you can subscribe for free. You can subscribe for free with a Twitch Prime. Twitch Primes are available to you as long as you have someone else's or your own Amazon Prime account that you've connected to your Twitch account, CJ Grizz19 and Glizzy Gobbler also have gifted 5 subs, and so has Kev Rhino. So yeah, like I said, every moment that goes by, we're getting a little bit older, and hour after hour, there's another fucking 60-second ad break. Thank you, Real23 Phil, for giving 10 people the opportunity not to see the ads, and thank you, Dumpster Baby, for giving 5 people the opportunity to not see ads. And yeah, I've run the ad already. And Darmon 22. Thank you. Okay. Matthew McConaughey, thank you.
This is normal. this is a normal time when people are under heavy anxiety. Because most people do not know how to handle like extreme
Comrade said, give it a 5.
or scary, unknown situations. That's why
The Duality of Man, a short film. A lot has happened. Joe inked the Spotify deal and moved his whole clan to Texas. He became super wealthy and moved somewhere where the food is greasy and the sun stays on 120% of the time. Well, that's like California too, to be fair. It's America. I also buy into the idea that he seems to be drinking a ton in Texas, but also a ton has changed in the world. In the Osterheim episode, COVID was not yet ultra political. The lines had not been drawn. People were still figuring out what COVID was, and no one agreed on what was going to happen. I thought the world would go back to normal in a few weeks or months until right around the time this episode when reality hit. I remember everyone, for the most part, was saying 2 weeks to stop the spread, and the vibe was going to stay home for a few weeks and this would blow over. Just prior to this, the U.S. government was still saying not to bother with masks because they didn't work, yada, yada. Dude, this is so true. We often forget, but like, I mean, there was a very real, no, don't say only Pence said that. There was like, for a brief moment, there was a very real feeling that like we would get beyond COVID. Like, we would get beyond COVID relatively shortly, okay? There was like a fucking second. There was a second. And also, on top of that, even if we didn't believe that we would get through COVID in like a month or whatever, because people were saying that it would take a year. Experts were saying take a year, 2 years, you know what I mean? I didn't want to believe it. You know what I mean? It was like too aggro for me to believe. So I would repeat that information that experts were saying, but deep down inside, I was like, I hope that's not the case. I can't see myself, being fucking trapped in this like COVID dungeon for fucking 2 years. And now obviously a lot has opened up since then, and now we have the Omicron variant. We don't know what the fuck that's going to do, but it definitely wasn't going to be 2 weeks, but there was a brief sliver of hope, I guess. Analingus, thank you for the 10 gifted subs, and Kate Smith, thank you for the 5. Famously, Elon Musk, the brilliant man, the myth, the legend, said COVID will be done by April. If you guys remember that, he's a big epidemiologist himself. He threw his hat in the ring. Anyway, the idea of an mRNA vaccine for COVID was not even yet a subject. Joe was most likely thinking of a typical flu shot style adenovirus vax when having this discussion. I really think the political right-left brainworm started to set in around July of 2020 when we didn't go back to work and nothing was back to normal yet, and the second wave started to hit. It became really political that summer, to the point where liberals would absurdly scream and cry about someone who didn't wear a mask outside while walking their dog, and some conservatives act like the sky was falling if they had to wear a mask in the line to the grocery store. The whole two realities thing that set in that summer, and Joe, who had just moved to fucking Texas, picked Team Dumbass. There's a little bit of a extreme centrism here, leaking out of the last part there. Like, but ultimately he recognizes that like it's Team Dumbass that fucking makes a big deal out of mask wearing and shit. Yeah, no, liberals do get like a little out of hand, but ultimately, as much as exacerbated as they are, and hyperventilate about a bunch of shit, they ultimately are on the side of caution. You know what I mean? Joe Rogan has worked a 9 to 5 for exactly 3 weeks of his life. When he was in construction, he quit because he couldn't hack it. He has no grasp on lifestyle, working class people whatsoever. Add to that, he thinks he's a philosopher now, and you get to this brain rot. Are you going to cover foreskin restoration? Yes. Oh, wow. A post that's not completely biased. Not good. Yeah, dude. There's no bias when someone says, liberals would absurdly scream and cry, and some conservatives would act like the sky was falling. I think that is a conservative who is not an anti-vaxxer, this person. Okay? That's what this person is doing. This notion that there is no bias is a silly one. He says some conservatives were acting like dumbasses, but liberals, all liberals, were hyperventilating about the mask wearing. Not to mention the J&J vaccine is based on the old vaccine model and using adenovirus delivery mechanism. This anti-vax shit is 100% political. That's true. That 100% is true. People just have gotten caught up in the culture war shit, and any issue and every issue that either side decides to make their pet project creates these team boundaries, these cultural lines that you have to endlessly argue on. And it doesn't fucking matter. That it literally straight up does not fucking matter.
Why they like a normal.
Do you admit your own bias or just always rant with no thought? Tell me you've never watched a Hasanabi broadcast until 12 minutes ago without telling me you've never watched a Hasanabi broadcast until 12 minutes ago. My man said, do you ever admit your own biases? Or do you just fucking rant endlessly? Of course I admit my biases. I literally just said, in the 12 minutes that you've been watching, I said, everyone has biases. The main difference for me is that I admit mine, okay? That's the difference. But even in the 12 minutes, you could have recognized when I said, everyone has biases. So this notion that someone is like fucking objective or a centrist is ridiculous. What do you think I'm wearing this shirt for? What do you think this shirt implies? You think I'm a fucking... I don't know. You think this doesn't show what my underlying ideological predisposition is? Anyway. Joe Rogan talking about fucking 9 to 5s. What else is new? Let's hear it.
This is a normal time when people are under heavy anxiety. Because most people do not know how to handle like extreme stress or scary unknown situations. That's why they like a normal job that starts at 9, it ends at 5, and you have 2 weeks paid vacation, and you have your this and you have your that, and everything's laid out.
Yeah, dude. Totally. People actually are too terrified to be like entrepreneurs, dude. And it has nothing to do with like, I don't know, the fucking reality that like the uncertainty is caused by the needs that you have. Okay? Everyone would love to work for themselves. Okay? Everyone would like to eliminate as much alienation from their labor as possible. The whole fucking concept though is that you don't have money, you're fucked. If you don't have capital, if you don't have security, you're fucked. This idea, like, talk to a single person that works, man. Holy fuck. I feel like this is something I'm afraid of. I used to look up to Joe Rogan. Fuck it. Admission time, okay? I used to look up to Joe Rogan a lot because, like, he got the bag from mainstream media, from television, and he built his own thing, okay? He built his own platform. He not only was able to monetize it successfully, but more importantly than that, he stayed relevant. Like, he cultivated a fucking audience, right? And I used to, this was like fucking 7 years ago, okay? I used to look up to that. I thought, like, this is how I want to tailor myself. I want to be fiercely independent. This is something that I want to do, okay? Now I look to him and I'm like, I hope I don't fucking become like that. Because Joe is what happens when you are only surrounded by the Elon Musks and other wealthy motherfuckers, okay? When you're not like, when you don't have any sort of connection to the working class, you, I guess, tend to forget their experiences. You tend to forget like what it's like to work a fucking 9 to 5. You think people that have 9 to 5 jobs don't have anxiety because of their jobs? Like, that's insane. For many people, okay, including myself, back when I worked the fucking 9 to 5, my job was my anxiety. That's what caused me to feel like shit on Sunday nights. because on Monday morning, I knew I was going back to work. It's such a ridiculous, insane, fucking, so privileged, entitled take. It's crazy, okay? I don't know, man. I just like I really do care about not becoming like this. Joe Rogan doesn't have a chat to shit on him constantly. You are too close to the gray names to be as alienated from the average human as he is. Yeah, I mean, that also is true. That is also true. I do have a regulatory mechanism, but also that can get really fucking toxic too. So it's weird. It's both good because people can directly reach out to me and be like, this is not my experience at all. It can also be bad because I do hyper focus on like negative comments, as you guys know. And then I feel like every single fucking person is someone who hates me, absolutely fucking hates me. You know?
And you know what to expect. People do not like when you don't know what to expect.
Anyway, we are your Jamie, except there's 30,000 of us. 100%. 100%. Anyway, it is a double-edged sword. But, I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way. Let's be real.